So, if you take a look at the agenda, under business,
Yes.
is any of that, can we go into exec session on any of that?
If you have, it doesn't look like you have anybody specific in there, but if you have some specific, individuals to discuss, you would wanna go into closed session on those ones.
We're gonna mention a couple of people.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I would say we'll go into exec session. then.
yeah, sure,
Yeah, because it does with eligibility lists and so on.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, if you're gonna bring up specific people, then go
yeah,
ahead and go into closed session on
Okay.
that one, just because you're talking about personnel.
Right.
/ employment and.
okay.
So Megan, I got a question for you before we start. The executive session, for the village board, for the executive session, I know the attorney, Melissa, is very adamant about putting specific topics in. So that's what they narrowly have to discuss. Does the board, does Patty have to do that the same for executive session, or is this wording right here cover everything?
You know, I think that wording does cover everything. I have a paragraph that some people put in that's more,
Like a
some
preamble.
people want more in there, some people want less, but it really just reiterates what the statutory language is. I think as long as you identify that you're going in to discuss personnel and employment, specific employees, personnel and employment matters under 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act, you should be fine with that. Everybody has a different style, so if you want like a beefier language, we could send that over to you if you wanted to include that. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I think you're okay with identifying the statutory exception and just saying, making it known that that's what's gonna happen.
That's up to the commissioners.
I
Me
would-
and Patty were talking about
I prefer
it.
the more general rather than getting more
Well-
specific, because if we get more specific, you're in trouble.
And a village might have more topics, more different provisions of the statute than you all do that might fall
Sure.
under closed session. For you all, it'll be the employees and hiring and firing of employees that it's gonna be part of your closed session topics, because that's your role really. So
makes
yours is more, you don't have as many options in terms of, and you can keep that on there because every meeting you might have, it might change. There may be times that you don't have any specific employees, but there might be times that you do, and there might be times that you don't know until the day before or the day of that
exactly.
you got that. So
Okay,
That helps,
we
right?
will, it's 8:31, call the meeting to order. Patty will take a visual roll call. Is there any public comments on the agenda items? If not, any amendments to the agenda? Now, move on to the consent agenda, A and B,
I'll make a motion for a consent agenda.
and I'll second it. Is there any questions?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's carried. Okay, for item 5, under business, since it does deal with personnel, eligibility lists, et cetera, a motion then to go into exec session.
Make that motion.
Okay, and I'll second it. And it is 8:32. Okay, fire department updates.
Excellent. So before you in your packet is the final, initial final eligibility list with all the preference points tallied.
Okay, so we'll go to the first motion
To approve the eligibility list
of the fire
of the fire
department
department.
and allow them to move ahead to do background checks
Right.
as needed.
I make it.
Okay. And that's sufficient, right? What you just said.
yeah, just to go to start the background or step to approve the list and then start processing their backgrounds, going down the list.
And polygraphs.
Yeah.
And polygraphs, as needed to fill, as you're looking at for
Right,
positions.
okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. awkward. Okay, the next motion then for the police officer eligibility.
Okay, I make the motion to approve the eligibility list, and I guess it start with the first 2 certified officers.
Sufficient?
Yeah, start the process
Okay.
for the 2 certified officers.
So we're
Yeah.
approving the whole list, but start the process for 2 certified.
Yeah,
Understanding that we cannot officially hire until the budget is approved after January 1. And so once it's approved and we request it of the board in our budget, a 39th officer. So as of January 1, we're trying to prepare for that so we can have an officer ready to go by that time.
Right.
With a backup.
yeah. Well, considering we've only got 2 months to the end of the year. So, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
I make that motion.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's been approved. Okay, so we're okay with all that. All right.
Well, we have to address this background investigation changing.
Right, yeah. With that, so a motion to approve that the fire chief pursues CLS, right?
Yes.
Do we want to approve that for the police department too, or not? Just for fire?
Fire's the moment's the one that's requesting it.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it. Is there any discussion? Seeing none?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's taken care of. Now, our budget request form, I don't think we've gone over budget this year. So, I don't know what our total is at the moment, but I would assume that, the request's the same as that we had last year. Do you know what the total budget was last year?
No.
38,000, I believe.
No, we raised it to 40.
We raised it to 40 this
Yeah.
year.
For 2023, it was 40.
Okay. Okay, I don't see us needing to decrease that because, you know, we still have background checks now, which costs a ton of money. So, then, a motion then to propose that our budget be the same as last year.
Yeah. Estimated to be about
About
$40,000 is what you thought last year was.
Right, yeah,
That's what it is.
okay.
I make that motion.
And I'll second it. Do we have any questions?
Yes, if I may. Just be aware that the village board, one of the trustees had asked, what is that money going towards? So we just have to keep in mind, keeping an itemized list of things we spend on, or even anticipated costs, putting that into this budget. So
Right.
just be aware of that dynamic.
And it's easy to justify what we're putting it into,
I keep a spreadsheet on
Yeah.
everything that I charge to it.
so, yeah. Okay. Motion's been made.
And second.
I seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. So the other item, we've already kind of discussed that, the discussion of auto recordings. We'll leave in the statement that it says, under executive session, that statement will always appear on our agenda. And whenever we're discussing any type of personnel issues, we will go into exec session. Is that acceptable? Okay. All right. We're also serious. Happy Halloween. Any other business? Any other questions? Seeing none then, I guess entertain a motion to adjourn.
I Motion to adjourn.
And the time is 8:49. And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
And if anybody wants to FOIA this